What is up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? You're here for the cold hard truth, and I'm here to bust it out to you. Today we're going to talk about blockchain, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, all that good stuff. I had a deep conversation with a good buddy of mine the other day, Amir, and I want to download what I think is the future of this stuff, because I see you guys asking a lot of questions about fiat currency and stuff.
Anything else for you today?
That is all.
Okay, I like your car.
I like your speaker. Okay. Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency. Woo! Everybody thinks it's the next big thing. I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. All right. Ooh, nice Mustang. The thing about these currencies, these crypto type currencies, is they have a few major problems. You know, first of all, I've heard people call them or compare them to a commodity, because you can only mine so many of these coins. It doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin or any of the other versions of the cryptocurrency. There's supposedly only so many available, and once you mine them, that's it. So because there's a limited supply, they have some sort of value. Now, the difference between this sort of cryptocurrency and things like other commodities, and I'll tell you why it's not a commodity right now, is commodities like silver, gold, pork belly, wheat. If you look at any finance page on any website, it has a moving value, a trading value of that currency. Gold goes up and down, silver, as do all the other ones, and so does Bitcoin and any other cryptocurrency as well. But the biggest difference is these other commodities have intrinsic value. They can be used for something else. Gold has excellent properties for conducting electricity. They're fantastic for heat reflection. You know, if you remember the original McLaren F1, they lined the engine bay with basically a gold tin. Gold has a whole bunch of applications. Same thing with silver. Silver has a ton of applications. Wheat you eat, obviously. So all of these commodities have some application beyond their traded value. And the thing you got to consider is, yes, money has a value, like a bill, a dollar bill, whether it's American, Canadian, or whatever currency you're looking at, but you can't use it to conduct electricity. You can't eat it. It's stored value. Now, the problem with cryptocurrencies, blockchain and all that stuff, is it has a major limitation in the sense that banks, financial institutions, and government can't control it. And if they can't control it, you will never, and I promise you, you can watch this video in 5, 10, 20 years, they will never adopt it as a currency standard unless there is a complete breakdown in the financial markets, the financial system as we know it today, and we do not revert back to a monetary system that involves things like precious metal, like gold, for example. You know, currencies in precious metal were adopted like hundreds, thousands of years ago in, you know, the times of medieval, where a king would issue they're usually stamped in things like silver, and they weren't based on weight. Sorry, they weren't based on the face value of the coin. Coins were based on weight, so the weight had a monetary value. So they would weigh coins. They wouldn't actually, look at it and say it's 25-cent piece or whatever it might have been. So there's a huge difference in it, and I know that, you know, if you guys have watched a few of my other videos, you see me speaking from experience often, and I'll tell you a story about a personal experience that I had with financial institutions here in Canada, and what happened with my debt negotiation business. And essentially, with my company, what it does is it helps people get out of credit card debt by reducing the amount that they owe, which is completely opposite from what the banks want you to do. They want you to be in debt. That's where they make their money. As long as you're making your interest payments, it's great for them. So as soon as my company and the others that kind of followed suit showed up on the radar screen, they did what any large company does in the world that feels threatened. You know, you see it right now with Uber. Uber's getting smashed by regulators all over the place. you know, because the taxi companies and lobbyists and all this stuff's involved. In fact, in Toronto, today is Tuesday. Today's actually the day that Uber's supposed to die in Toronto. I took an Uber ride a couple of days ago, and the driver was telling me that he thinks it's gone because of all this legislation and policy change from the taxi companies. So anytime a major industry is threatened by something new, they will do whatever the fuck they can do to stop it. And believe you me, from what I saw from my experience, I spent a year and a half going down to Queen's Park lobbying bureaucrats, politicians, policymakers, taking meetings from all of these political interest groups, going to their fundraisers and donating money to get in front of the right people. And what a fucking waste of time that was. I blew about $50,000 and got absolutely nowhere, and the banks and credit card companies won. So that was on a fairly small scale. You know, our industry probably amounted for less than 1% of any lost revenue that the banks or financial institutions might have realized, and they did whatever they could to stop it. We're one of the few companies that move forward. You know, we ended up basically adopting a new legal model which let us proceed, but most of the businesses just went out of business because it wasn't economically viable. It was very, very difficult for them to continue doing business, so they disappeared. I'm not saying that cryptocurrency, blockchain, you know, all that stuff is going to go the way of the dodo bird. I think there's a place for it, but I don't believe it'll ever be adopted on a large scale because banks and the government can't control it. The government can't print the money like they do with bills. You know, it's difficult to say what's going to happen with currency going forward in the future. I think you'll see it change. You know, we've been using money for a long time. For those of you that don't know the origin of money, it's really just stored value, you know, because hundreds, thousands of years ago when people were trying to, you know, exchange wheat for chicken and beef for, you know, linens or clothing or firewood or anything that they might have been looking for to exchange, these things only have a certain shelf life, so they created money in the form of coins, which were weighed, silver, gold, you know, that sort of thing, and that would store value. And then we moved to paper currency because it was easier for government and banks to manage, and they can print it. They can't print gold, they can't print silver, but they can sure as shit print money, and they can control it, which is a fatal flaw, I believe, in these blockchain type currencies. Now, it does have some advantages, which I think you're going to see trickle into, which is a great opportunity for any startup entrepreneurs, anybody that might have the know-how to how to get into this. You can use this type of technology for things like voting, for example. You know, people don't go out and vote. They just don't. You know, like half the population gives a shit, and then the other half is either too busy, tired, they don't care, they don't think it's going to have any impact. But I mean, like, you could literally cast a vote on your mobile phone using blockchain type of technology. It's very, you know, it's very doable. In fact, you know, they've been testing it. So I've seen a few of these businesses come and go. I was invited to come and invest in one a couple of years ago, which didn't spark my interest. I didn't think it had enough behind it to be sticky. Lo and behold, I checked a couple of days ago just to see what the status of it was, and guess what? They're gone. And it's not like it's bulletproof either. You know, like, banks can be robbed, and we all saw that press release about a year ago. I can't remember the outfit. It was like a Fort Knox or something like that, or Mount Albert or something, but they had their bitcoins hacked, and it was basically a huge bank robbery, and the value was gone. So these things can be stolen. The advantage is that, you know, people use them because it's basically untraceable. So if you're a member of the criminal element, or you don't want government or Big Brother knowing what you're doing, where you're earning your money, where it's coming from, you know, there's a place for it for that. We have yet to see how it unfolds in the future, but I believe it's going to be very, very similar to a technology like Napster, where there will be a ton of adopters, but simply because you can't regulate it, you can't tax it, you can't control it, you'll never see it go mainstream, okay? Until governments and large financial institutions can control it, you'll never see it adopted for mainstream use. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. That's my opinion on the blockchain type of technology. Throw a comment below in the video. Thanks for checking out the video. As always, browse the channel and check out some other stuff. I know I've been giving you guys a lot of car stuff lately, so I wanted to throw a business video out for you. And if you have any special requests, throw it in the comments below. Thanks for checking out the video. Have an awesome day. Peace.